From Tucson, Arizona, the World Rugby Football League trials continue. This afternoon, the Capital Express meets the Pacific Pumas. And hello again, everybody. I'm Dave Sitton. Along with me, Emil Signes. We're at High Corbett Field in Tucson, where today we're going to see some of the top rugby players, not only from the United States, but from all over the world on display. One of the key players on the field this afternoon will be the Capital Express scrum half, Samisoni Rabaka. Since 1987, this guy's been playing for the national team of Fiji. Emil, you're very much involved in seven-a-side development in this country. Are more and more of the top American athletes making themselves available to rugby?
Yeah, they certainly are. In fact, there'll be some players that are trying out for the World Rugby Football League that have played in the NFL, guys that have played at other very top-level sports in the United States. So I think that players are getting really excited about the prospect of being able to play in the World Rugby Football League.
The Pacific Pumas captain, Salty Thompson's a fast one. He'll be one of the quickest on the field today. Speaking of some fast guys, one of the guys we have working the broadcast with us today is Andrew Harriman. Andrew, what are your thoughts about today's match?
Well, Dave, it should be a good game today. As you said, it's a bit blustery and a bit sort of cold here in Arizona, but the winds are dying down a bit, the sun is out, and we're looking at 3 Ps, I think, is the key to the game. So pressure, possession, and patience. Pressure and defense, hitting your men hard and getting the ball back, keeping the ball, possession, that puts more pressure on the defensive team, and patience. When I mean patience to look for the gaps and take your time till you see the gaps come through, put your fast men through, your strong men down the middle, fast men wide, and it converts to points.
Thanks, Andrew. Well, during the course of our broadcast this afternoon, we're going to educate those of you who weren't born in England, and we know that many of you are not. We're going to show you some of the similarities of rugby to American sports, especially football and to basketball. Emil, I know you know this. Most people might be surprised. Rugby strategy is more similar to basketball strategy because of the turnover nature of the game and the transition game than it is to football. But we'll let you know all about that because we're going to have this kickoff coming your way right after this. Okay, we're back at Tucson's High Corbett Field. A little bit inclement this afternoon, uncharacteristic for Tucson, but the players won't pay any attention to it. This afternoon, Pacific will be in red, and the Capital team will be in blue. Here we go. Salty Thompson kicks off. The Pumas in the red, and the Capital Express in the navy blue. And Pacific put the pressure on first. A lot of pressure. Off they go down the side, and in for the try very quickly. Mike Dwyer scores the try for the Pacific. That's a bit surprising.
Yeah, Dave, it sure is. Now, it's all caused by Pacific pressure. There's a high kickoff. You see Pacific's going to let Dan Lyle come down with the ball, and 2 guys tackle him. You see Rob Randall, number 1, take it away from him. The ball's now available on the ground. Merrick Firestone kicks it ahead. It's still rolling on the ground. Mike Dwyer picks it up. Try.
All right, here's Salty Thompson with the conversion kick. It's wide to the right, and that makes our score remain 5-0. Remember, a try is worth 5 points, and the conversion is worth 2.
Well, just like in football, in the WRFL, if you score, you kick off. The ball's got to go at least 10 yards, and it's anybody's ball. But unlike football, there's no fair catch in rugby. So a lot of time you'll see a kick put high in the air for players for both teams to jump for. The basketball center could be useful here.
All right, let's go back to the line.
Well, on that kickoff, Salty Thompson caught the Capital receiver sleeping, not guarding the sideline. He puts the kick deep in their territory. Now Capital's going to have to put the ball in play by throwing it into a line-out. 2 jumpers from each team, deep in their own territory.
All right, the field position all in favor of the Pacific so far, although the West has the possession. Let's see how they go with it. The Capital Express puts it out into the hands of the Pacific Pumas. Lou Polo-Cow-Cow out of Santa Monica, California. Knocked down, the ball back in the possession of the Express. Charlie Wilkinson gets it out. Rory Lewis still on his feet. Former United States International in 7 gets it back out. And they continue on. There's that little gap opened up for Will Brewington. Brewington's waiting for help. Brewington's still going to wait for help. Tipped out. Play picked up by Redmond. Redmond on his own. 3-on-1 defensive gap. Sells the dummy. And can't connect with Brewington. So the ball tied up. Merrick Firestone's going to kick it ahead and clear it for the Pacific Coast. Salty Thompson in a race now with Charlie Wilkinson, and Wilkinson wins the race to the ball. Thompson there with a tackle. And a lot of help on the way for both sides. Taking the ball is Dave DeMay, and DeMay goes over for the try.
Well, Capital got to the ball first. They fell on the ball, got it up off the ground, and Dave DeMay simply stole the ball from Sammy Rambaka's hands. It's got to be embarrassing for Sammy. He's a world-class player. Great job by DeMay.
Okay, Chris Motes will attempt the conversion. Our score right now, 10-0 in favor of the Pacific Pumas. And the kick is good. That brings our score 12-0 in favor of the Pacific Coast.
The Pacific Pumas are exerting tremendous pressure on the Capital Express. Now watch here. Vince Granger gets tackled and loses the ball. Comparing this to basketball, it's like a gambling pressure defense at the ball. You recognize you're vulnerable away from it, but they've still got to get the ball there. Here you're going to see Rory Lewis tackled by 2 defenders, and he loses the ball. Remember that in rugby, when you're tackled to the ground, you must release the ball so that it can be played. The Pacific pressure simply doesn't stop.
12-0 in favor of the Pacific. All right, Andrew, what you got for us?
It's nice to be here on behalf of the World Rugby Football League in Arizona. America needs the league. Rugby worldwide needs America. It's great to be part of it.
All right, thank you, Andrew. It is blustery down there. Okay, here we go again. This is the Capital Express. Moving the ball is Gallagher. He finds some help. The pass completed to Paul Sheehy. Sheehy caught just shy. Did they get the try or no? Yes, they do. Try awarded. So Sheehy and the Capital Express on the board. And boy, that was a lengthy possession for the Capital Express.
Yeah, that was a great job of support by Paul Sheehy, who started the movement. Brian Gallagher does a nice job of committing a couple defenders and finds Sheehy filling an open lane. Sheehy gets tackled short of the line, but in rugby, if your momentum carries you over, you score. That's a good try.
We'll get an idea on the player shaken up on the play. Meanwhile, the conversion kick is good.
Just as in basketball, if one guy can commit 2 defenders, he's got to have a teammate free. If Paul Sheehy commits 2 defenders, then gets the ball away. One Capital player takes out his opposite, another Capital player commits his opposite, and sure enough, Brian Gallagher is free on the outside. Gallagher senses the defense overcommitting to the sideline, and he steps in against the grain, freezing a couple defenders, looks for support, and there's Sheehy, the guy who started it all. He deserves that try. Great job.
Ready to go again. For the first time, the Capital kicks off. Ball tapped back. Taken by Motes. Motes going to spin it wide to Lauren Broussard. Broussard's got speed to burn out there. Trying to put some moves. Now he's got a corner. There goes Broussard down the far side. Finally knocked down by Gordon. Ball is not forward. Advantage to the Capital Express, and the referee Josh Tamafufa of Southern California whistles it. There's Lauren Broussard. He started his rugby career at the University of Arizona as well.
That's a great shoestring tackle by Steve Burnham. You know, you'd think with no headgear, guys would worry about getting a mouthful of cleat, but they usually survive.
A scrummage. That is Capital.
Good.
Coming in.
However, it is inside their own territory. Ball tied up. Good pressure applied once again by the Pacific side. They get the ball out. However, they cannot clear it. Finally, they get it in the hands of Motes. Motes to Broussard. Broussard's going to try to turn the corner. Now turn it back inside with the move. Broussard going and brought down. DeMay has a gap, and DeMay is going to go in for his second try of the game. A little Wildcat connection there.
Yeah, for a big guy, Dave DeMay does a great job of faking that pass. In rugby, we call it selling the dummy.
17-7 in front are the Pacific Pumas. Plays it now for the Old Blues. They mentioned he played his college rugby at Cal. Here you see David. Now you see Chris. And he has 2 more.
Pacific pressure started this try as well. Scott Shepard keeps Chris Petrakis from passing the ball. The play's a bit sloppy, but in rugby, you can't just fall on the ball to kill it. You've got to keep it alive. Here you'll see Mark Fleetwood do a nice job keeping the ball in play. You'll see Lauren Broussard going to the sidelines. He sees two Capital defenders overcommitting to his outside. He recognizes it, steps in, and although Dean recovers and makes a tackle, Pacific is now moving forward, and that's going to make it easier for DeMay to get in position to make his great fake.
Andrew right now. Andrew, what do you thought?
Well, Dave, as you said, it's a big surprise looking on paper. We thought that the Capital would be actually the better team, but Pacific come out actually scheming. I'm here by the Pacific boys, and you can see the intensity in their eyes. They're really up for this game. It's a high-octane game, as you'd expect in a league series. The second game's got more pace, power, and precision, and it's going very well so far for Pacific.
Very salty confidence return to the Pacific lineup. Beautiful end-over-end drop kick. Knocked out of bounds after touching Dan Lyle, and it'll be a line-out to the Pacific Pumas. This, I would say, is quite a shocking match so far when you consider the names on the Capital Express side. Will Brewington, Charlie Wilkinson, and others. These are well-known names in the world of seven-a-side rugby. Here's Merritt Firestone. Matches for many years, and this one's a long way from being completed. Mike Thompson will attempt the conversion.
They're good.
And against the very, very stiff wind, he helped it out of the ballpark. So that's the end of the first quarter. Our score, Pacific Coast 26, Capital Express 7. We'll be right back.